Hello, my name is Suki and I'm making my first Flosstube video, take 2, I guess. I did make 5 Flosstube videos like 4 years ago, and you won't find them now, so don't even bother trying to find them. They're hidden because it's so long ago. Let's just start fresh, everybody. Today is Saturday, November 6th, that I'm filming this and maybe posting it. Who knows? And I'm going to show you what I've been up to for cross stitch. And it seemed like a really good time to start this because when I'm stitching, I will often watch Flosstube. Almost always, actually, will I be watching Flosstubes. Catching up on old videos from people, as well as watching a lot of current videos. Tons of whip parades around this time of year into the whole ending. I always love whip parades. And I reached a big milestone in my stitching last night, so it seemed like a good way to start off Flosstube channel. So, actually, well, not start as in this video is going to start, but it's going to be shown today. So, if you have any questions for me about legit anything, I'm a fairly open book, I think. So if you can leave comments, questions, concerns, don't leave your concerns, your questions or your comments in your in the comment box below. Yes, there's a comment box below. And I'll do my best to answer all of them. I just don't love just throwing information out there like, maybe you want to know this and maybe you want to know that. I don't know what you want to know. So you let me know what you want to know and I will probably oblige you. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some things that I have finished in the past, just to kind of have something to say that I have finishes, because that feels good. This, I know it's super, my camera won't focus without making a really loud noise, so I'm sorry, but this and its companion, these were from a kit. I don't have the information, and it's a really old kit because I believe I got this from my mom. Like my mom's stuff from when I was little. And decided to finish them. They're supposed to be ornaments, but clearly I haven't done that yet. But Christmas is coming, so maybe I'll manage to finish it. But they're little angels. It does use gold metallic in it. And like I said, you're not going to see it, but the wings have it. Okay, hold on. It's going to get loud. That didn't focus all the way. There we go. So there's gold metallic up here and the horn, and then back stitched into the wings and down the dress. And this one, she's holding a banner. The banner doesn't say anything. Maybe I didn't finish this one. Maybe it's supposed to say something, but there's gold up here. The eyes are French knots and it kind of looks a little weird, but that's okay. It's supposed to be an ornament. Okay. I don't know when I finished these. Probably 2016, 2017 maybe, because that's mostly when these finishes are from. This one is also Christmas. It's also a kit, and I have the kit information somewhere, but I don't know where it is currently. But it's a nativity scene, and it's got this border that was pretty fun to do with all of the, I don't know, I just really liked it. And there are beads in here, these gold beads. I have not done a lot of beading. And I think this might have been my very first experience with beading. And I can already tell you that I know I didn't do it right. It looks like I came up and went down in the same hole. So the beads all twist around. Anyway, there's some gold metallic. There's a little bit of these stars here. Oh man, this whole autofocus thing. Or non-autofocusing. I might just have to do this differently. Anyway, these stars are all, they're not cross stitches. I'm sure there's a name for that specialty kind of stitch, but I just did what it told me to do. There's these leafy flower things are something. There's lots of French knots. All of these little white stars, I think they're stars, are French knots. These grapes down here are French knots. It says, and she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger. Luke 2:7. It looks like I made this in 2017, because there's my initials, and there's the date down here. This was also a kit that I had got from my mom's things. And in my stash, I've got probably 4 more kits. 1 or 2 of them have been started. One I don't have fabric for, but I have the floss for, and the others haven't been started at all. And one day I will probably work my way through those as well. But not today. This next one, it looks like I didn't sign it at all. So I have no idea when I did it. But this was also a kit. And it's got a lot of white in it. But it's a unicorn. These have been rolled up. Oh, I did sign it. I signed it in gray. 2016. Wow, I did not choose a very good color, but right here I have my initials and 2016. You can't see that at all. This is a kit that I got for my 8th birthday. I was cross-stitching since before I was 8. I don't know if I started when I was 7 or if I was even younger. But my mom would get us these kits that you stitched them on this dark brown plastic. It looks a lot like the Mill Hill perforated paper, but I've never actually done a Mill Hill, so I don't actually know what perforated paper feels like. But this stuff was more plastic, like it was, you would stitch it and then cut it out, and then sometimes there'd be these different pieces that you would also stitch that you would attach by like wire or something, and they were meant to be like planter decorations or something like that. I don't know that we ever actually used them as such, but I remember doing quite a few of those, and I have none of them to show you, and I don't know, I doubt that they're made anymore. I know nothing about them. So why am I telling you this? Oh yes, because this one, this unicorn, I was given for my 8th birthday, but because I was only doing these small, more canvas kits, I wanted to wait until I felt like my skill was better to tackle something like this big. I really liked it as an 8-year-old. I still really like it, and I'm not 8 anymore. But I'm glad that I finally did this. In 2016, when I was far past being 8 years old, for many years I didn't cross-stitch. And then I didn't have this kit. We had moved and the box was somewhere, and eventually the box made its way back to me, and I was able to get this back, and I worked on it, and I super love it. It's just crosses and back stitches. There's no French knots or specialty anything in it. So there's that unicorn. It's pretty, and I really should frame it or do something with it. I've been holding on to it for that long. Now I also crochet, and usually I have blankets going, but lately I've been doing some animals, and well, for my sister. I was commissioned by my sister to make 4 animals because she is going to have a baby and she wants them for her baby. So the first I made is this little sheep. He's so cute. And I love how this is all bumpy, which is how you stitch it, but also because I used kind of a variegated yarn for it, it's just so cute. And its little tail. He's so cute. So, a black sheep is one thing she asked for. And this is the only one that I have 100% finished. I'm this close on, she asked for a talking bird and she didn't care the colors. So I just got some out of my stash. This is a budgie pattern, and I have the face to do, like sew in eyes and a beak. And that's it. But aren't those so darling? These little wings are so cute. She wanted a monkey. I'm tossing stuff around here. And I have all the parts to it. But I don't have it stuffed and I don't have it sewn together. This is the head. And everything. These legs are just super cute. So I have about 3 weeks to get these finished. And it won't take me very long, but I do need more of the filling. And the sewing in of it is not always my favorite, but it doesn't take very long. I just stress over getting the placement exactly right. These are safety eyes, so they're not coming off at all. They're not sewn on. They've got those snapbacks on. And that was the third. The fourth one she wants is a 3-headed dog, black. And confession, I made one and I wasn't very happy with it. She loved it. Her husband loved it. And I still have it. And I'll probably still give her it, but I wanted to do better. So I'm doing better. I have the 3 heads done with their eyes all in. This one is so cute. The finished one really is cute. I just wasn't very happy with it, because it's been a long time since I've done this kind of crochet, and I needed to make some changes in how I was doing it. But I've got a lot of these are ears and the muzzle. Okay. And I'm working on the body right now. And then I still have the legs and the tail to make. But again, I still need the filling. I need to go to the store and get more filling. And I have 3 weeks to finish it up. It's really not a problem, but I really only work on it like when I take my daughter to dance. So I'm not really giving it enough time. But I'll get it done. I will. Okay. Back to cross stitch. These I'm going to show you now are the things I'm working on. not everything that I have started. I mostly do very large things. I love full coverage. Oh, that reminds me of other finishes I have. I'll have to show you in another video. Anyway, I mostly do full coverage things. So I'm going to show you the things that I have been working on, not necessarily everything that's been started. So the first is a gold dimensions kit. It'll look like this when it's finished. It has some beading and French knots and back stitching, but it's worked, if you know dimension kits, it's both a full cross and a half cross. And the half crosses are anywhere from 2 to 5 strands, or 3 to 5 strands. I don't think I've hit one that's 6 strands yet. But it's 3, 4, or 5 strands, which is fun. It's called Woodland Enchantress. It is designed by Ruth Sanderson, and this is all kit fabric, kit threads. It's a 16 count gray Aida. It's that big. And that's where I am so far. Oh, sorry, my needle minder, little nutcracker, is not part of the design. There we go. I love it. Most of this is tent stitch. There's some like the highlighting down here, that is full cross, but so far it's all been tent stitch. And I have been working on this block by block in this diagonal, and I just have them all wrapped up right now. So that's Woodland Enchantress. I have everything all neatly placed here, but then I feel like after you show them, you just kind of toss them aside and figure it out later. My next one is Heaven and Earth Designs Frodo and Galadriel. This is artwork by Matt Stewart, charted by Michelle at Heaven and Earth Designs. This is the regular, it's just regular chart. Regular size, regular colors. There's 88 colors in this one. I guess this is kind of big. It's 450 by 676 stitches. So that's pretty sizable. It's a big fabric. And that's all I've got on it. This is 25 count Lugana. How it's stitched is a bit of a story. So when I started, this was the very first full coverage piece and Heaven and Earth Designs piece that I had ever tried. So it had recommended 25 count Lugana and full cross 2 over 1. So 2 threads over 1 thread of fabric. And I didn't know very much when I started this about what I was doing. I feel like this would have been 2017. But I'm not positive. It could have been 2018. I really don't know. Anyway, I gave it a try. And I came across some people who said, work on it in a 10 block down the column until you get to the end of the page. So I did that. For 3 columns, this is 3 columns, before I was like, I don't like that. So it was getting, my stitches weren't very nice at all. It was getting very hard to get my needle up in the holes, and I was seeing, you might not be able to see them This, I don't think you can see it, but there are some column lines. You can barely see it in person, so seeing it on camera probably isn't going to happen. So these first 3 columns are stitched 2 over 1 full cross. Well, by that time I started to learn more. I did a little bit more research, and I saw some people who said, well, hey, if you stitch that way, you can end up with column lines. So a lot of people would stitch diagonally. I said, okay, I'll give that a try. So this part of it was stitched diagonally, 2 over 1 full cross. And I wasn't seeing diagonal lines, so I was happy in that sense, but it was still really hard to put my needle through. So I started, I don't know. I started changing it to 1 over 1 full cross. But then I put this away. I put it away and I didn't touch it for like 3 years. When I got it back out, I had tons of hanging threads from parking, and I wasn't really sure what I was doing. Pattern Keeper had come out in between in that long stretch, and I was using it. And so I got this in Pattern Keeper because I wanted to stitch on this a couple months ago. So I put it in Pattern Keeper. I figured out where the heck I was on everything. And then I started stitching in all the threads, but I decided to stitch tent stitch. And that's because of another piece that I've been working on, which has its own story that I'll get to. But I knew that I would be okay with tent stitch, and I was watching another Flosstube, well, basically any Flosstuber or on Instagram, any stitcher who says that they, mid-piece, especially near the beginning, switch over how they're stitching it and you can't tell, and they show it and you can't tell, gives me a lot of confidence that I can do it too. So when I was stitching in all of these parked threads, which is quite, I mean, all of this stuff, basically, yeah, because most of this branch here didn't exist before. That's all of this new stuff is now 2 over 1 tent stitch with the tent stitch going in the same direction as the top leg of my crosses. And when you look, if you're up close and personal, like your nose to the fabric, you can tell that I've done that. But nobody's going to look that close. And it's the top corner of this big old piece. So, I feel pretty confident that it's not going to be noticeable. But that's where I am. This is 8,218 stitches, which is 2.7% finished. And there is a total of 304,200 stitches in that chart. So there's Frodo and Galadriel. Let me put it right there. The only other cross stitch, and this is my main focus cross stitch. If you follow me on Instagram, the Brown-Eyed Stitcher, you will be well familiar with this one. And this is my milestone, okay? This is like my pride and joy piece, my masterpiece. I adore it. It is Treasure Hunt Bookshelf by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Design. And I'm stitching this super sized max color. Now this is a huge piece, and because it's super sized, it is, 999 stitches by 723 stitches for a total of 722,277 stitches. And I've got it here to show you. And I have been stitching this one shelf at a time. So the milestone that I reached last night at 11:30 p.m., I was not going to sleep until I finished this, was that I finished that top shelf. Okay, so this is the top shelf and the sky. I finished it. And I'm so proud of it. So, it's not likely I can get this whole thing in. Oh, maybe I can. Ta-da! I love it so much. So much. I wanted all the detail, which is why I went Super Size Max Color. There's a spider web over here. You don't see it in the other charts. I think maybe you see it in the Super Size regular color, but whenever I see the regular chart, it's a detail you don't see. There's a spider web here. There's a fairy. I adore her hair and the lantern and the colors here. There's so much to look at in here. This is a treasure box with a gold coin and pearls hanging from it. And this right here, y'all, when I was stitching it, I thought it was a snail. And then when I completed this whole thing, I realized that this was a treasure box. This is a fairy standing on it, posing. And that's a crown. That's just how this is. This is a snow globe. Again, I had no idea what it was until I finished it. But it's a snow globe, and there is a carousel horse in it. It might be a carousel unicorn, but that is not a detail that you can see in this. You've got the magnifying glass. When I got this red curtain in, oh, so lovely. I love it. And this right here, I think it's the moon. That is what I finished the last night. I just love this so much, y'all. Love it. So this is 28 count easy count fabric by Zweigart, and it is being stitched tent stitch 2/1. I need to hold it all the way up here so you can still see it while I'm talking. This is a total of 208,000 stitches and 693. 208,693 stitches. That is 28.89% all the way finished. And it's max color, so there's 239 colors in this. Now the story with this is that this is the very first Heaven and Earth design I ever saw and loved. It's not the first one I saw. Actually, it might have been the first one I saw. And I absolutely love it. I love to read, and I love that sense of wonder that you get from reading. And this chart really just speaks to me, the colors and everything. So I got it. I did some research to know I wanted it super size max color, but it was very intimidating to me. So I started Frodo and Galadriel first, but then quickly started this. I think I started it like on my birthday or something. I don't know. And I started it on 25 count Lugana, full cross 2/1. And I got like the first page, I think I got the second page and into the third page before I was really not happy with it. And I was not happy with the Frodo Galadriel, which I already explained. And so by that time I was in the Facebook group. I had been doing more, learning more, and decided that I really needed to like how I was stitching it. So I made some guesses. And decided to go on 28 count fabric, which is just a little smaller than the 25 count, and I decided to do half cross, well, 10 stitch. So I use a long diagonal on the back because it's easier to end my threads, and 2/1 because I like that full look. Now I've got a lot of specialty stitch or fibers in here because I do have cats and dogs, but if you're up close in the dark parts, you can see some fabric. You can see it more here. Not like these white bits, because those are actually charted, but you can sometimes see some fabric shining through. But I've heard that once you wash it, the fibers will fluff up a little bit, but also it doesn't bother me one bit because it just doesn't bother me at all. And I love it. I love stitching this. I love just about everything. I can't think of anything I dislike about this chart. So that is my whips, and now we'll talk about my plans. Okay, my plans. I, to date, have mostly worked on Treasure Hunt Bookshelf. For a long time it was my only whip, until September. I went on a trip and I wanted to take some stitching, but I didn't obviously want to take my whole setup with this super huge thing. So I had taken Woodland Enchantress, and I loved working on just a little bit of variety that I just wanted to keep doing it. So when I came back, I was working on Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, I was working on Woodland Enchantress, and that's when I picked up Frodo and Galadriel again and worked in those parked threads and started working some additional stitches in that one. So moving forward, I've kind of made a little rotation that I think I'm going to like, that I may change up at any point, but I've sat with it for a couple weeks now, theoretically sat with it. I haven't actually worked it yet. But anyway, I plan on coming back just after Thanksgiving with another Flosstube video. So these are what I plan to work on before then. I am going to start the second shelf of Treasure Hunt Bookshelf. So I will be scrolling this whole thing up and starting again. I'm going to stitch it differently. I stitched this one primarily extreme cross country, and until I got to a point where I just wanted to see it filled in, at which point I just worked from here and worked my way over. and I loved it. So I think I'm going to be stitching the second one differently. I don't think I'm going to do extreme cross country. But I'm going to start the second shelf. I will be finishing my crochet animals for sure. If I have time away from like my big piece, like when I'm downstairs somewhere else, I'll work on this. I just pick it up whenever I need something that's not huge, because I don't consider that huge. It's big, it's full coverage, but it's pretty small. I probably won't be touching Frodo and Galadriel, but I'm going to be making 2 new starts. One, and they're both full coverage, Heaven and Earth designs. One is Bubble Bubble Chocolate Trouble by Randall Spangler, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This one is 575 by 658. That's a total of 378,350 stitches. My notes are down there. I don't know this one very well. That is a little bit bigger than Frodo and Galadriel. And I will be doing that on 25 count, easy count fabric. Now the reason I'm doing this chart is because my daughter started her first full coverage Heaven and Earth Designs, and she adores Randall Spangler. So she's working on a Randall Spangler piece, and I said, I'll do one with you. Hers is much smaller than mine, and so we'll see who finishes first. But she's excited that she has a chance to beat me at finishing our Randall Spanglers. So I will be stitching this tent stitch 2/1 on 25 count. I pretty much just do tent stitch now. The other one I'm going to be working on is Queen of the Night. It is a Josephine Wall and also Heaven and Earth design. It is 450 by 342. It is definitely my smallest one. My smallest Heaven and Earth design. It's 153,000 stitches. 900. 900 stitches. And this is as big as the fabric is. So it's a pretty small one comparatively. It has less stitches than the first shelf in my supersized treasure hunt bookshelf. So yeah, that one feels pretty small. And that one actually I am starting today. It is the piece I want to work on the weekends, Saturday and Sundays. So I'm starting that today, and I'm super, super excited about that. And that's all I've got for you today. I say that, but I feel like this video is going to be like 45 minutes long or so. I didn't think that I was going to talk that long. But here's the thing. I can talk a lot when I have something to talk a lot about. And I can talk a lot about cross stitch. So, I hope you enjoyed today's Flosstube video, and feel free to leave your questions, comments, and I suppose you can leave concerns, but you know, I know this community is super nice, so don't scar me. I want to come back for another video. And you can follow me on Instagram. I do post any day that I stitch. I will post a picture of what I've stitched that day. So follow me on Instagram if you want to see daily progress, because I pretty much stitch every day. It is soothing to my soul. It is definitely self-care, and so I do that. That's the Brown-Eyed Stitcher on Instagram. Yep. Have a great day, whatever day it is that you're watching this. Bye!